emodels.co.uk. Make something awesome.
Right. Okay, that's them put away, and welcome back to the next eModels build. emodels.co.uk. That's them. Yeah, right. I'm on with the next eModels build after the huge submarine, the Trumpeter U552. If you haven't seen it, go and have a look. It's in the playlist. Right, I'm on to the next project for the eModels build, and it's something a little bit different. Yeah, I've gone civilian. I usually do military, but this time I've gone a bit civilian. I thought it was a different bit of a genre, but then again, it's maybe not. Let's have a look at it. Yes, here it is. It's the Zaxis 135 US Hitachi Excavator. It's a 1/35 scale and it's by Hasegawa. Now, I haven't done Hasegawa before, but I understand they're pretty good kits. But we'll have a look and we'll see. Yeah, I do say it's a little bit of a different genre for me, but perhaps it's not really, because it's really a civilian tank, because it's got tracks and it's got a crew compartment and it's got a big pointy thing like a gun. So yeah, it's a tank, a civilian tank really. Right, before we have a look in the box, I'll tell you what I've got to put it all together. Obviously we'll need the usual paints and glues and primers and brushes and things like that, but I've got a selection of paints from eModels, and the first set I've got is this. Let's have a little zoom in and we can have a better look at it. This is the kit from Mig Jimenez. It's the civil vehicles weathering set. Containing this is modern vehicles wash, damp earth, streaking rust, old rust and dark pigments. And you too could produce a tractor looking like that. But we're doing a digger. Right, let's have a look inside. Yeah, what we've got 4 jars and a pot of paint. Let's open this up, have a look. We've got, this is the old rust. We've seen that before. We've used that on the submarine. We've got damp earth. This is the mud effects range. Nature effects, damp earth. It's sort of a thick mixture, a coloured mixture, which gives the texture of damp earth, wet mud, heavy mud, that sort of thing. I have used it on the Panzer tank in an earlier build for eModels. This one is dark earth pigment, modelling pigment. Yeah, this is the powder form. If you haven't used pigments before, if this is your first time looking in at eModels, we'll show you how to use some of that. Streaking effects, streaking rust effects. Yeah, this is sort of like a thinned colour for doing streaks and things like that. And finally we've got a modern US modern vehicles wash. Once again, a little bit like streaking effects, but this will give us more of a wash than an effect like this. But we'll have a look at all them. I won't open them now. I'll wait till we get ready to use them, and then we'll have a look then. So we'll put all these back so I know where they are. Next things we've got some more separate pigments. One's rubble, And another pigment is European Earth. I get it in short, European Earth. Why American Earth or African Earth would be different from European Earth, who knows. Some colours from Vallejo, some paint colours from them. I've got different ones. I've chose these because the model, they are colours similar to what we could use on the model, but we'll have a look at the paint chart later on in a moment when we get the instructions out. But these are some to be going on with. Some that I've picked, there are variations. You could use other makes and manufacturers and things like that, so I won't be specific about using particular colours. I'll just use them as an indication. And finally, in this box of bits, we've got some of these are recently released from AK. These are weathering pencils. I've taken a couple of rust coloured ones, light rust, gunmetal, graphite, that'll be good for highlighting metals and such like that, dark rust and medium rust. Yeah, a bit like a watercolour type pencil. Haven't used them yet and I don't know how they'll go, but we'll have a look and we'll do a bit of a use and review of them as the build goes on. Right, that's all the bits that we looked at now. What we'll do, I'll reset the scene and we'll have a look what's in the box. Right, where were we? Yeah, script. Oh yeah, right, the box. Let's have a look in the box. Oh, wrong box. Yeah, that's the Christmas build. If you keep watching, that's a Christmas build for e-models. Right, here we are, the Zaxis 135 US Hitachi Excavator. Zaxis 135 US, even says that in Chinese. Yep, the box is a box. Nothing different on it. A couple of pictures of the finished model. It's even got crew. Yeah, that's about it. Hasegawa, hobby kits and wherever. Nothing else on there. So let's have a look in the box. The lid comes off. Right, what we can see first is a number of self-coloured plastic sprues. Yeah, just wrapped in cellophane. Have a look at that in a minute. Put that out of the way. Book of instructions. Yep, same picture as the side of the box. Whenever I get the instructions out for any kit, they always look rather complicated until you start breaking it down into the component parts and start building it. Then it all becomes a little bit more sensible. Nice idea, as I've seen on most of the other kits, is to give you a diagram of the sprue layout so you can identify parts and whether they're missing or not, or what you should be looking for. Usual sort of Chinese, English translations and colour call out list for the colours. Various stages. It's one sheet, bifold sheet, and colour diagrams on the other side. A lot showing where the hydraulic hoses and such go. A few instructions down here about applying to decals. I'll have a look at them in a minute. Making lots of noise here. And then a further big sheet. It's to say this is a 135 full scale. I'll start again. This is 1/35 scale full size drawing. So that's your finished excavator. Details of yeah. Right, once again, colour call outs up at the top here. So that's that. I'm just wondering, maybe you guys know, is the 135 US? Does the US signify that it's maybe just sold in US? This is a US model. I don't know. Right. So we'll go put that to one side. Decals. They look fairly sharp, fairly clear. Not a lot of overprinting, and not a lot of carrier film either. Yep, we'll use those. No problem with them. And the clear, last thing in the box is the clear plastics. This will be for the cab. Looks like there's some tubing there. There's probably the hydraulic hoses, couple springs, and a couple of probably wheel hubs just to hold the wheels on. Right, so yeah, I'm not taking them out of the bag just yet, because I don't want them scratched. Empty box. Right, let's have a look in the bag. As I say, it seems self-coloured, so you could probably, if you wanted to, build it straight from the box without painting. Now then, if I can use my scissors, yeah, there's a lot of good out there. Right, these are obviously the Excavator arm. Looks like nice mouldings, no problems with injection pin marks or anything like that. As I said before, I have heard that Hasegawa is quite a respectable kit manufacturer, so there shouldn't be any problems with that. Whatever they are. So, sorry about the rattling of the plastic. Right, that's that out of the way. Yeah, everything is confusing at the moment, but I'm sure it will all become clear as the build goes on. Few sort of, I think these are safety rails around here at the back. Obviously need some care and attention, just taking those off so we don't snap them. Yeah, there's a crewman. I don't know if I'll be using him. Maybe keep him for another project. More coloured bits. I think there are two options in here. Yes, here we go. We can either build using a bucket, I think that's the most popular choice, or we can build using like a grab, a claw type effect. I'm sure you've probably seen them when these sort of excavators are used for demolition, things like that. They're grabbing big lumps of concrete, or even maybe using them in the logging industry and grabbing big round trees and digging them up. But yeah, if you want to, there's the option there of a claw. I don't think anybody ever builds with a claw, but that's the bucket. We'll have some fun with that. It's orange, but never mind, it won't be when we've finished. More coloured, lighter grey. This looks like the interior of the cab. There's a seat, some controls. Bits and pieces there. The tracks are a vinyl track. We'll keep them. No sense in going to metal tracks. The actual real thing does have a rubber type track on it, not metallic as you'd find some tanks and such were. So these are probably nearer the original genuine thing. So we can have some fun with that. And what looks like here is, I don't know, this is some more hosing, hydraulic hoses. We'll have some fun with them. And more bits. There's a shovel. Yep, great. So that's about all there is to look at inside. Lots of bits, hundreds of bits. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sprues. 10 sprues in a box. Right, now I'll go and put these all back in the box and we'll look at doing something else. Maybe get a few bits off the sprues and start putting it together. Or getting it ready to put together anyway. Okay. Right then. Just new model. So I always start with a new blade, and maybe I'll change it halfway through as well, or when I need to. Right, bit of a tradition for my build is always to show the first cut, and the build will begin. I'm going to work through this at the moment. I'll work through it in the right order, starting with number 1, although I'll totally discard section 1 because it's the driver. We're not going to use the driver, certainly not in this model anyway. So we'll go on to part 2, which begins the cab assembly. I've been looking at this and trying to work out the best way to do it, and I think is to part assemble this, and then before we get down to the glazing and such like that, we'll need to do some painting. So without further ado, we'll begin this build by the first cut, which will be parts from Sprue G, which is the seat, which is these. So here we go, my trusty sprue cutters. Yeah, just looking at this, there is actually a slight nub just on the bottom in there, which we need to keep on, a little locating pin, so just cut them off. Oh, there we are. The first part cut from the sprue. Can't send it back to the shop now. And that one, and that one as well in there. So that's the first bits cut. Right, I've changed the backboard, the desktop as well. We're now onto the green cutting mat because the grey one is just a little bit for show. Plus these parts are grey, so we may have lost a little bit in the videoing. Just a slight clean up to do on them, just to get the nubs off. Don't actually think we'll see the back of the seat, but never mind, do that as well. Now there is a little bit of a mould line around the outside, so a bit of a sanding stick just to take them off. It's always good to start a model, get the first bits out of the way. They always start off with great intentions, like I'll do everything perfectly, I'll make sure it's all right, and won't miss any parts out, and I'll glue them all spot on. I won't make any mistakes on this, but you always do. I certainly do anyway. Right, try these. So that goes on in there. That tiny bit goes in the back there. So we'll need some glue. The famous old Tamiya extra thin. And glue that in there. Just hold it for a few moments. Try not to get a thumbprint because I've got glue on my thumb, so try not to get a thumbprint on the seat itself. And now this bit to go in here. Now this bit is going to fly across the room, I can guarantee it. There we are. Just a bit of glue, just a touch, and blend everything in. And there we are. There, although it's a little bit of an insignificant piece, well, that's the first bit of this build being done. I think I'll call an end to the video at the moment, and then what I'll do for the next video is get on and get everything painted, and we'll show you how the painting all goes together. This bit's just really to sort of open the box, have a look in the box, and start and get things prepared. So if I look at the paints and things like that. So yeah, end of part 1. So we'll look forward to seeing you in part 2. Come along. Don't forget, if you want to follow this build, subscribe to eModels on YouTube, and you'll get notifications. If you tick the little bell, you'll get notifications when the new video is posted on the YouTube channel, and keep up to date on Facebook page as well. That's eModels. eModels.co.uk is the website. Anything you need, go and get it from there. Until the next time, bye bye.